गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। कैसे हैं आप सब? सो हेयर वी आर विद द थर्ड लेक्चर ऑफ द PYQ एनालिसिस फॉर पॉलिटी सब्जेक्ट. I hope you liked the earlier two lectures. So now we are here with a new set of topics under previous year questions. So here we are going to discuss two subtopics. That is the parliament, then we will be discussing the judiciary. And we will see how and what kind of questions are being asked in a frequent fashion in the UPSC prelims examination. After seeing these three videos, I am certain that you would be having some kind of insight on the major topics that are being repeatedly used by the UPSC to frame questions. Okay, so without any further delay, let us start with the discussion. So here we are for the current subtopic. We have parliament, and the first question is, it was in 2017. The question appeared in 2017, and the question has been asking the main advantage of the parliamentary form of government is that. ठीक है, एक चीज को थोड़ा ध्यान से समझना कि इन आर PYQ एनालिसिस वी हैव बीन डूइंग टू मेनी थिंग्स. Like we have been analyzing the topics, we have also been putting out the subtopic from where that question has been asked. इसके बाद we will be discussing the questions that have been asked. और जब हम लोग questions को discuss करेंगे ना, we will also be discussing each and every option, so that there is a possibility कि next year a question can be framed out of that option. ठीक है, so we will be discussing options as well as question completely. Now the main advantage of the parliamentary form of government is that the executive and legislature work independently. एकदम absurd statement. As we know, we are following a cabinet form of government, a cabinet form of government, और I can say इसका दूसरा नाम क्या है? It is British model, or I can say Westminster model. Westminster model, because it is the location where the British Parliament is located, or I can say prime ministerial model, or basically parliamentary form of government. There are some features of this parliamentary model, or I can say the British model, like the presence of cabinet, presence of nominal as well as real executive in the form of the prime minister, nominal executive in the form of the president. Then we have the responsibility of the executive to the legislature. The dissolution of lower house, that is Lok Sabha is being dissolved if there is a loss of confidence. So basically these are some of the features of the parliamentary form of government, or I can say Westminster model of government. So if I talk about this kind of model, here the executive is a part of legislature. They are not independent of each other. A person can become a minister only when he or she is a member of parliament. ऐसा केस नहीं होगा. It is for a period of 6 months only that a person can be a minister without being a member of parliament. Within 6 months he has to get the membership of the parliament. That is, a minister is a part of the legislature. A minister cannot become a minister unless he is a member of the parliament. So this is the statement, like executive is a part of legislature. Now if we see the A option that is being written, कि the executive and legislature work independently, हो ही नहीं सकता. We just said कि executive is a part of legislature. So how they can be independent of each other? It is never possible. This statement is wrong. Second statement, it provides continuity of policy and is more efficient. It provides continuity of policy and is more efficient. This is the characteristic of a presidential form of government. This is the characteristic of a presidential form of government. We have continuity of policy in the presidential form of government. This, in the parliamentary system, there is a demerit. As soon as the government changes, the methodology of implementation of policies also change. One government prefers particular kind of policies and the new government prefers another set of policies. This is a problem with the parliamentary form of government, like there is a discontinuity. Remember the word discontinuity in the policies. So this statement is clearly wrong. Then we have D. The head of government cannot be changed without election. This is an absurd statement, not related to the parliamentary form of government. It is related to the presidential form of government. So this statement is also wrong. Now coming to the original answer for this question, that is option C. The executive remains responsible to the legislature. This is a correct statement. And why executive remains responsible to the legislature? Because executive must maintain confidence at all times. If the executive loses the confidence of the house, then the government may fall. There would be a formation of a new government, or the new election can take place. So executive at all times must have the confidence of the house. There are too many instruments like adjournment motion is there, no confidence motion is there, president's address is there. So these kind of instruments are those through which the confidence of the executive is checked. Money bill is one more example of this confidence. Like if the money bill is failed to get passed, then there is a loss of confidence in the executive. That means the government is no longer enjoying the confidence of the house. Okay. So the answer for this question will be option C, that is the executive remains responsible to the legislature. Moving on to the next question. Now we have the next question as question number 50. It was a previous year question of the year 2017. Okay. The question has been saying, the Parliament of India exercises control over the functions of the Council of Ministers through. We just discussed कि legislature controls the executive through various formats, whether it is a adjournment motion, whether it is a no confidence motion, question hour, the passage of money bill, president's address. So these kind of instruments are those through which the confidence of the house is asserted on the executive. Now दो ऑप्शन तो हमने वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस ना कि एडजर्नमेंट मोशन इज देयर, क्वेश्चन आवर इज देयर. बेसिकली एडजर्नमेंट मोशन इज फॉर asserting a discussion on the issue of general public importance. Say there is an emergency, there is a health emergency, or I can say there is some kind of financial emergency. So the member of parliament can make a adjournment motion and can ask the question from the finance minister ki sir, this kind of financial emergency is there, you need to be answerable to the house, you need to be answerable to the public of the nation ki how you are going to solve the crisis of this kind. So this is how the discussion is being made on a urgent matter of public importance. That is how adjournment motion is taken. Basically it is a like it has an element of censure. So if this is not passed, then there is a no confidence motion against the executive. Like executive loses the confidence of the house if the adjournment motion is not passed. Okay. Now secondly, question hour. Question hour basically starts for the first, like at 11 am. At 11 am for 1 hour. Basically during the question hour, the house members asks the questions from the minister directly on various kind of topics. Like say for example, there is a minister of state for the DOPT and a MP raised the question, sir, you have been decreasing the vacancies for civil services every year. We need to put a question like how you are going to raise the number of vacancies in the coming years. So through this question, the minister of state of DOPT will answer like this is our plan to raise the number of vacancies in the coming years. So this is how the member of parliament takes the information from the concerned ministry or the concerned minister. So the question here is the question hour. So basically it starts at 11 am and goes for 1 hour. And if we talk about the type of question, we have starred question, then we have unstarred question, then we have short notice question, जिसके लिए नोटिस बड़ा आपने बहुत कम दिया है उस क्वेश्चन को पूछने के लिए मिनिस्टर को. So basically starred questions are those which require oral answer by the minister. You don't need to submit a written copy of the answer in the house. So starred questions require oral answers, and this is how the supplementary question on that may follow. supplementary question can follow. Supplementary question can follow because there is a less research for the making of oral answers. But if we go by the written answer, it takes a load of research. Like they need to collect the data, they need to collect the reports, and this is how the answer is framed to a question of the member of parliament. So in this case, the subsequent questions cannot follow. So next we have unstarred questions which require written answers, and due to which the subsequent questions cannot follow. Subsequent questions are not there. Subsequent questions cannot be there. So this is correct. Here we have subsequent questions, but in case of unstarred questions, we don't have subsequent questions because the answer is in written form. In the case of starred questions, the answer is in oral form. Now we have short notice question which require a notice of 10 days. कम से कम 10 दिन का आपको नोटिस देना पड़ेगा in case of short notice question. इससे कम period पे you cannot ask a question from the minister. So this is how the confidence of the minister is gained from the house. So we have question hour. इसके through भी we are controlling the council of ministers. Adjournment motion is there. Similarly, supplementary question तो we have already discussed. In the case of oral question, you asked one question, then you again asked कि नहीं you did not implement this. Like how you are going to implement this? A supplementary question has been asked. So this is how the member of parliament asks the questions from the council of minister, or I can say the cabinet minister. So this is also the correct answer. So the option, select the correct answer using the codes given below. So the answer, all the three are correct. So the answer for this will be option D, that is 1, 2 and 3. I hope you got the right answer for this question. Moving on to the next question, we have question number, next question. Question number 99. It was a question of previous year question 2017. Or एक और question, we have already discussed the question on parliamentary form of government. Now it is a question on the same type of government, that is cabinet form of government. Either you say parliamentary form, either you say cabinet form, or Westminster model, British model, prime ministerial government, everything is same. So the options are, अगर हम ध्यान से options को पढ़ें तो कहीं ना कहीं आप eliminate कर सकते हो कि यार ये options तो possible है ही नहीं. Like a arrangement for minimizing the criticism against the government whose responsibilities are complex and hard to carry out the satisfaction of all. एकदम absurd statement it is, because it has been talking about an arrangement for minimizing the criticism against the government. Like you are muffling the voices of the people. The people are no longer allowed to have the fundamental right of speech and expression. You cannot criticize the government for their policies. You cannot say anything against the government. So this option has been talking about this kind of situation. So this cannot be the right answer. Okay. If we talk about the D option, a device for strengthening the hands of the head of government. Head of government is the prime minister. In our case, that is cabinet form of government, whose hold over the people is in a state of decline. Are you really reading this statement? A device for strengthening the hands of the head of the government, whose hold over the people is in a state of decline. Like कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर की पकड़ लोगों के ऊपर से कम हो रही है, तो you need to increase that grip. So this is a completely absurd statement because it is talking about a totalitarian regime. Totalitarian regime, that is a despotic government. Despotic government, or I can say dictatorial government. Dictatorial government, not possible. So A or D cannot be the answer. Now if we talk about other two options, then we have a mechanism for speeding the activities of the government whose responsibility are increasing day by day. Basically this question statement has been talking about the bureaucracy. It is not talking about the political executive. It is the work of the executive to frame the policies, and it is the work of the bureaucracy to implement those policies. Like a scheme is created by the Ministry of Finance, then the bureaucracy will be responsible for implementing that scheme. So this is how it is a mechanism for speeding up the activities of the government. Like government is responsible for framing the policies and bureaucracy is speeding the activities of the government by implementing them effectively. So this statement is wrong, although the statement is correct, but it is not related to the desired question. Like it has been talking correctly about the bureaucracy, but our question has been about the principle underlying the cabinet form of government. The principle underlying the cabinet form of government is this: a mechanism of parliamentary democracy for ensuring collective responsibility of the government to the people. Collective responsibility, याद रखना ये term, collective responsibility is the underlying bedrock principle of the cabinet form of government. Like executive is responsible to the Lok Sabha, that is the lower house of the parliament. It is the underlying assumption of the cabinet form of government. So this is the right answer, option C. Now moving on to the next question, we have, one second, question number 1. It was a previous year question of the year 2018 and it is simple question. Ekdam you will see how you get to know the right answer without applying much knowledge, or I can say much application of mind. देखना एक बार eliminate करके कि how to get the right answer. Now it was a previous year question in 2018. Consider the following statements. पहले देखते third statement. In the Lok Sabha, if a party does not have a minimum of 75 members, its leader cannot be recognized as the leader of opposition. This is a wrong statement. How? Because to be recognized as an opposition party in a house, the opposition must get 1/10 of the seats. 1/10 of the seats. Like say for example, we have a 545 house Lok Sabha. 545 house seats are there in Lok Sabha. So to gain the criteria for opposition, a party has to get the minimum of 1/10 of 545, that is 54.5, or I can say 55 seats must a party must achieve to get the tag of a opposition party. ठीक है. So this statement is talking about the 75 members, but यहाँ से number कितना निकला? It is 1/10, or I can say 55 members. So this statement is clearly wrong. Plain mathematics. Like opposition party को recognition के लिए कितने seats चाहिए? 1/10. 1/10 of 545 is 55. But the question has been talking about the 75 members. So this is a wrong statement. 3 cannot be the answer. 3 हटा दो, 3 हटा दो, 3 हटा दो, सीधा आंसर ही मिल गया ना अपने को, 2 only. But यहाँ पे we are not eliminating. We need to understand how the other 2 options are not the answer. Now 2 तो होगा ही होगा, but एक बार डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. In the Lok Sabha, a leader of opposition was recognized for the first time in 1969. This is a correct statement because recognition was there in 1969. Recognition was there in 1969, but it was given the statutory status. Statutory status was given to the leader of opposition in 1977. So this is how the second statement is correct. Recognition was in 69 and statutory status was given in 1977. So this is the correct statement. 2 is correct. Third is wrong. Now in the first Lok Sabha, the single largest party in the opposition was the Swatantrata Party. This is a wrong statement because अपने को पता है कि largest party it was Congress, and after Congress it was Communist Party that got around 16 seats, and it was the second largest party after the Congress. It was not the Swatantrata Party. Okay, so this was a question related to the post-independence. Although post-independence is not in UPSC prelims syllabus, although they may ask question on related topics like the first Lok Sabha elections, the first Rajya Sabha, the first finance commission, they may ask, and you must have the basic knowledge कि पहली लोक सभा में who got the maximum number of seats, various ministerial portfolio किसको क्या मिला, तो you must remember to have some kind of basic knowledge about these kind of first things. Okay, so this statement is wrong, this is wrong, और आंसर क्या होगा इसका? 2 only. We have already arrived at the answer, that is option B, 2 only. Now moving on to the next question, we have question number 5. Question number 5, it is a 2018 previous year question. पानी देना. Okay. The question has been talking, consider the following statements. the Parliament of India can place a particular law in the 9th schedule of the Constitution of India. The validity of a law placed in 9th schedule cannot be examined by any court and no judgment can be made on it. Now see, first we need to understand what is 9th schedule and how 9th schedule is different from other schedules. Basically, 9th schedule was added to the Constitution of India by First Amendment Act. It has been a question in UPSC prelims कि from which amendment you added the 9th schedule to the Constitution of India. Even it is a question कि किस Prime Minister की term में you added the 9th schedule. It was a question in UPSC prelims, I think the year was 2020. They directly asked under whose Prime Ministership the 9th schedule was added to the Constitution of India. So now if we see, basically 9th schedule is where you put laws that are immune from judicial review. ये immune होंगे judicial review से. Like judicial review will not be applicable over the laws that are put under 9th schedule. Basically it was placed because there was a crisis, like Zamindari issues were there, or the land distribution, land ceiling act were to be passed. So there was a clash between the DPSPs and the DPSPs and the fundamental rights. So there were some kind of cases like Champakam Dorai Rajan case is there, Kesavanand Bharati case is there, Golaknath's case is there. So this is how the constitution got amended, and we got new doctrines like basic structure doctrine is there, the primacy of the fundamental rights is there, the primacy of DPSPs are there. So basically 9th schedule was added by the Parliament of India through the Constitution Amendment. It was First Amendment Act to make the laws immune, or I can say to make the Constitutional Amendment Acts immune from the judicial review. Now this statement is correct. The Parliament of India can place a particular law in the 9th schedule of the Constitution of India. See, every institution wants to enlarge its sphere of influence. Parliament क्या चाहता है कि if we go by the philosophy of a particular institution, Parliament will try to get it stronger. ठीक है, तो वो क्या चाहेगा ना कि I can put every schedule in the 9th schedule so that the impact of judiciary can be neglected. कि judiciary have no control on the powers of the Parliament. But अगर ऐसा होगा ना, like there would be one institution that would be very much stronger. The concept of checks and balances will be negated. The concept of separation of powers will be violated. And one institution will become too much stronger that it will usurp the civil liberties of the people. And that would be a situation of anarchy, or I can say that would be despotism. So we need some kind of checks and balances. कि एक की power पे ना there must be some kind of a break. Like Parliament की power पे there must be a break of judiciary. कि judiciary can check कि whether the Parliament is taking the right steps or not. Now 9th schedule में Parliament ने law रखा, और if that law is unconstitutional, say for example if that law is taking away the fundamental right to equality, that law is taking away the Article 14, then judiciary will clearly say that this law is ultra vires, unconstitutional. Even if you place that law under the 9th schedule, that does not mean like we don't have the power of judicial review. So even the judiciary can review those laws which are placed under the 9th schedule under the power of judicial review to check whether these laws are constitutional or not. So 9th schedule में place कर देने से it is not like कि Supreme Court or High Court cannot review them. They can always review them, and if they find that these laws against the concept of judicial review, then they will stand negated, or I can say the law will stand cancelled. Now this statement is correct. अभी हमने बोला ना, तो पार्लियामेंट तो प्लेस कर ही सकता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. The validity of a law placed in the 9th schedule cannot be examined by any court and no judgment can be made on it. अभी हमने डिस्कस किया कि they can review, they still can review those laws whether they are in 9th schedule or some other schedule. ठीक है, they can always review the laws made by the parliament. So this statement is wrong. This is correct. So the answer for this question will be option A, that is 1 only. Now moving on to the next question, we have question number it is a simple question. It has been asking about basically the mandate of a committee, mandate of a parliamentary committee. Like it has given some kind of information and has been asking कि ये किस कमेटी के बारे में बात चल रही है. So the question is with reference to the Parliament of India, which of the following parliamentary committee scrutinizes and reports to the House whether the powers to make regulations, rules, sub-rules, bylaws, etc. conferred by the Constitution or delegated by the Parliament are being properly exercised by the executive within the scope of such delegation. So this is the work of the Committee on Subordinate Legislation. ठीक है, इतना कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. Committee on Government Assurances talk about the statements given by the ministers in the House. Statements given by the ministers in the House. याद रखना हर कमेटी का मैंडेट क्या है. यूपीएससी कैन फ्रेम अ क्वेश्चन नेक्स्ट ईयर ऑन द मैंडेट ऑफ सम अदर पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी. रूल्स कमेटी मेक्स द जनरल रूल्स फॉर द स्मूथ फंक्शनिंग ऑफ द हाउस. देन वी हैव बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमेटी आल्सो वर्क्स फॉर द स्मूथ फंक्शनिंग of the house. You must remember the mandate of the some of the committees like business advisory committee, rules committee, general purpose committee. आपको पता होना चाहिए उनका हेड कौन है. मेंबरशिप दोनों हाउस से है, सिंगल हाउस से है, लोकसभा से कितने मेंबर है, राज्यसभा से कितने मेंबर है, क्या दोनों में इक्वल मेंबर्स हैं या सिर्फ लोकसभा से हैं. तो दीज टाइप ऑफ रूल्स यू मस्ट रिमेंबर कि कौन सी पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी का क्या मैंडेट है, कंपोजिशन क्या है, हेड कौन कर रहा है. सम कमेटीज विच आर इंपॉर्टेंट आर लाइक दिस फाइनेंशियल कमेटीज. वी हैव पब्लिक अकाउंट्स कमेटी, एस्टिमेट्स कमेटी, कमेटी ऑन पब्लिक अंडरटेकिंग्स. कमेटीज टू इंक्वायर में वी हैव 3 टाइप्स ऑफ कमेटी. कमेटी ऑन पिटिशंस, प्रिविलेजेस एंड एथिक्स कमेटी. देन वी हैव कमेटी ऑन गवर्नमेंट एश्योरेंसेस, कमेटी ऑन सबऑर्डिनेट लेजिस्लेशन, कमेटी ऑन पेपर्स लेड ऑन द टेबल, कमेटी ऑन वेलफेयर ऑफ SC and ST, कमेटी ऑन ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट. So basically these are some of the committee. We also have housing committee for the MPs. We also have the library committee, canteen committee. So this is how the management of the particular works of the parliament is done. This question is not much important from the discussion point of view. Now moving on to the next question. Now we have question number 39. It was a previous year question of the year 2018 and the question has been talking about the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly shall vacate his her office if she ceases to be a member of the Assembly. ठीक है, whenever the Legislative Assembly is dissolved, the Speaker shall vacate his her office immediately. Okay, now if we see, the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly shall vacate his her office if she ceases to be a member of the Assembly. This is a correct statement because there are 3 methods through which the Speaker vacates the office. Like first is if he ceases to be a member of the assembly, यानी membership है नहीं speaker के पास तो he cannot be a speaker. Secondly, resignation he may give to the deputy speaker, or there is a motion for the removal of the speaker, and removal of the speaker is carried out by the process of effective majority, and effective majority is what? Total membership minus, याद रखना effective membership is total membership minus vacancies. And vacancies can be due to a death, a resignation, or it can be due to a disqualification. So basically it is known as effective membership, and the removal of the speaker is done through the process of effective membership, that is the then majority of the house, and the then majority is total membership minus vacancies. So this statement is correct. Now whenever the legislative assembly, और I can say यहाँ पे parliament में लोकसभा भी लिख सकता हूँ, because legislative assembly is almost resembling to लोक सभा. कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है दोनों के फंक्शनिंग में, छोटा मोटा डिफरेंस है but basic structure is same. Whenever the legislative assembly is dissolved or the parliament Lok Sabha is dissolved, the speaker shall vacate his her office immediately. This is a wrong statement because speaker does not vacate the office immediately after the dissolution of the house. He continues up to the time until which the new Lok Sabha is elected or the new legislative assembly is elected. Basically, he supervises the election of न्यू स्पीकर, दैट इज इनकमिंग जो लोकसभा या इनकमिंग लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली होगा ना, उसके स्पीकर के इलेक्शन को सुपरवाइज करेगा पुराना स्पीकर. दिस इज हाउ द फंक्शन ऑफ द स्पीकर इज परफॉर्म. सो ही विल नेवर वैकेट द हाउस इमीडिएटली. सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग. So the answer for this question number 39 will be option A, that is 1 only. Now moving on to the next question. It was a question in 2019 year, and let us discuss what the question has been talking about. Now you will be getting कि UPSC में ना पॉलिटी के किस टाइप के क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं, and you must have some kind of confidence कि you can easily solve questions particular of the polity. आप देख रहे हो कि ना, like you are how you are getting the right answer, how you are just applying the concepts, and how you are just reading the statements, and somehow you are getting the right answer. So polity is just like the conceptual study of the subject. If you get the concepts right, if somehow there is a image of every concept in your mind, like if I talk about the secularism, आपके दिमाग में इमेज बनना चाहिए कि आर्टिकल 14 इज देयर, आर्टिकल 25 इज देयर, टू मेनी आर्टिकल्स आर देयर व्हिच टॉक्स अबाउट द सेक्युलरिज्म, प्रीएम्बल इज देयर. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ जुडिशियल रिव्यू, तो आपके दिमाग में बनना चाहिए कि हाँ, इट चेक्स द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनैलिटी ऑफ द लॉज. सुप्रीम कोर्ट और द हाई कोर्ट बोथ कैन हैव द पावर ऑफ जुडिशियल रिव्यू. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट आर्टिकल 32, राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज, यू मस्ट नो कि व्हाट आर रिट्स, व्हाट इज क्वो वारंटो, व्हाट इज मैंडेमस, व्हाट इज हिबिस कॉर्पस. So these kind of things that immediately must come into your mind whenever a concept is being talked about. ठीक है, तो पॉलिटी को इस तरीके से समझना कि आप उसके कॉन्सेप्चुअली उसको आप डील कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, सो दिस इज हाउ यू कैन इजिली सॉल्व द क्वेश्चन ऑफ प्रीवियस ईयर, और आई कैन से कमिंग ईयर प्रीलिम्स क्वेश्चन. नाउ द क्वेश्चन हैज बीन टॉकिंग, इट वाज अ 2019 क्वेश्चन. कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स. The Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959 exempts several posts from the disqualification on the grounds of office of profit. The above mentioned act was amended 5 times. ठीक है, the term office of profit is well defined in the Constitution of India. If you go by the article 102, Article 102 only talks about the office of profit, like a MP cannot hold a office of profit. But Article 102 does not talk anything about the office of profit. It does not define what is office of profit. It does not define कि what constitutes the office of profit. बस वहां पे एक टर्म मेंशन्ड है, देयर इज नो टॉक अबाउट द ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट. सो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन हैज नॉट बीन डिफाइनिंग द ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट एज अ कॉन्सेप्ट. सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज रॉन्ग. लाइक द टर्म ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट इज वेल डिफाइंड इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. दिस इज रॉन्ग बिकॉज कहीं पे भी उसका डेफिनेशन नहीं है. तो दिस इज रॉन्ग. इसका मतलब 3 आंसर ये तो हो नहीं सकता, 1 2 3. सी भी आंसर नहीं हो सकता, डी बी भी नहीं हो सकता. सो बी सी डी कैन नॉट बी द आंसर. यहीं से अपने को वी गेट द राइट आंसर 1 and 2 ओनली. मिल गया आंसर. बट इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द 1 and 2 स्टेटमेंट्स, द पार्लियामेंट प्रिवेंशन ऑफ डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन एक्ट 1959 exempts several posts from the disqualification on the grounds of office of profit. See, constitution has been mentioning about the office of profit. It is the parliament that has made law regarding the office of profit, and in this law there are too many posts that has been exempted from the office of profit. Like if you are holding this kind of office, that then it will not be taken as the office of profit. This has been talked about in this law, that is Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959. This is a correct statement, and this act has been amended 5 times. This is also correct. So the answer for option this will be option A. You must see the provisions of prevention Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959. इसको पढ़ना एक बार कि इसके प्रोविजंस क्या क्या हैं और इसमें क्या क्या ऑफिस हैं जो एग्जम्प्ट किए गए हैं. डू रीड अबाउट दिस. ठीक है. नाउ moving on to the next question, we have a question from the year 2020. Okay, the question has been talking about, this is a very interesting question. It was in the year 2020. Rajya Sabha has equal powers with the Lok Sabha in 4 options हैं: making cut motions, द रिमूवल ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, अमेंडिंग द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, द मैटर ऑफ क्रिएटिंग ऑल इंडिया सर्विसेज। ठीक है, यहां पे ना आपको ऑप्शन ढंग से पढ़ने पड़ेंगे कि मेकिंग कट मोशंस, वी हैव पॉलिसी कट मोशन, वी हैव टोकन कट मोशन, वी हैव इकोनॉमी कट मोशन। नाउ just tell me, these are the part of the budget, the part of the grants, the part of the demands, and it is only the Lok Sabha that can make the demand for grants, or I can say it is the Lok Sabha that can make cut motions. So in the case of making cut motions, here we have Lok Sabha is greater than Rajya Sabha, or I can say the power of Lok Sabha is greater than Rajya Sabha. But the question has been asking, where both are equal powers, याद रखना equal powers, ना कम ना ज्यादा, equal. Second, the removal of the government. We always have been talking about the cabinet form of government, like the executive is part of the legislature. The lower house is dissolved to assert the confidence of the government. So this is how these are the principles of the cabinet form of government. अब ये बात कर रहा removal of the government, that is to show confidence. To show confidence, and we know कि नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन हमेशा कहां पास होगी, लोकसभा में. राज्यसभा हैज नथिंग टू डू विद द नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन. सो हियर इन दिस केस लोकसभा इज लाइक ग्रेटर देन राज्यसभा. आई कैन से लोकसभा इज नॉट इक्वल टू राज्यसभा, और द पावर्स ऑफ लोकसभा आर ग्रेटर देन द राज्यसभा. यहां पे भी इक्वालिटी नहीं है. ए ऑप्शन, the matter of creating new all India services. This is the prerogative of Rajya Sabha only. ध्यान से समझना, the creation of all India services is the prerogative of Rajya Sabha. It is only the Rajya Sabha that can initiate the creation of all India services. So in this case, Rajya Sabha, the power of Rajya Sabha is greater than Lok Sabha. उस केस में, इन दोनों केस में लोकसभा वाज ग्रेटर देन राज्यसभा, बट इन दिस केस इट इज द राज्यसभा दैट इज ग्रेटर देन लोकसभा. हियर दे आर नॉट इक्वल. ये कहीं तो राज्यसभा की पावर ज्यादा है, कहीं पे लोकसभा की पावर ज्यादा है. सो वी आर लेफ्ट विद जस्ट वन ऑप्शन, दैट इज बी, अमेंडिंग द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. हियर बोथ आर इक्वल, हियर बोथ आर इक्वल. इट इज ओनली दिस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल, याद रखना, इट इज ओनली दिस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल जहां पे राज्यसभा और लोकसभा इक्वल है, नहीं तो बाकी सब बिल्स में देयर इज सम काइंड ऑफ डिस्पैरिटी. मनी बिल में तो लोकसभा इज सुप्रीम, एट मैक्स राज्यसभा कैन डिले द बिल फॉर 14 days. इन केस ऑफ ऑर्डिनरी बिल, say for example there is a joint sitting in case of ordinary bill, then the joint sitting will be headed by the speaker of Lok Sabha, and due to greater numerical majority of the Lok Sabha, the will of the Lok Sabha will prevail in case of joint sitting. Okay, so this statement is like amending the constitution, because constitutional amendment bill has to be passed by both the houses separately. राज्यसभा को भी उसको पास करना पड़ेगा अलग से, लोकसभा को भी पास करना पड़ेगा अलग से. दिस इज हाउ यू अमेंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. सो इट इज ओनली दिस केस, दैट इज अमेंडिंग द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. लोकसभा इज इक्वल टू राज्यसभा. इट इज ओनली दिस केस, दैट इज अमेंडिंग द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सो द राइट आंसर फॉर दिस विल बी ऑप्शन बी, दैट इज अमेंडिंग द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. यहां पे राज्यसभा इज ग्रेटर देन लोकसभा, या इन दोनों में लोकसभा इज ग्रेटर देन राज्यसभा. हियर it is in this case only, that is Lok Sabha equal to Rajya Sabha. I hope you got the right answer for this question. Now moving on to the next statement. Next question number 20 of the year 2020. Okay, so the question has been talking about, consider the following statements. The President of India can summon a session of the Parliament at such place as he/she thinks fit. Okay. The Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions of the Parliament in a year, but it is not mandatory to conduct all 3 sessions. Okay. There is no minimum number of days that the Parliament is required to meet in a year. See, if we talk about the second statement, The Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions of the Parliament in a year. This is a wrong statement because Constitution of India does not talk about the number of sessions. What Constitution of India says कि like the maximum gap between any 2 sessions, the maximum gap between 2 sessions cannot be more than 6 months. This is how the Constitution of India reads. Constitution reads the maximum gap between 2 sessions cannot be more than 6 months. This is why we have 3 sessions in a year, क्योंकि अपने को क्या है कि 6 महीने से ज्यादा गैप नहीं होने देना है. So this statement is wrong. There is no minimum number of days that the parliament is required to meet in a year. This is also correct. We have seen parliament getting disrupted every time, like the people walking out of the house, or there have been too many absenteeism of the members. So basically the effective days for the parliament for which the parliament has been functioning is getting low session by session. You must know the average number of days for which the parliament meet. तो अगर constitutionally कुछ ऐसा provision हो जाए, like there is some kind of amendment in the constitution, like in a particular session the MPs must meet for a particular number of days, the productivity of the houses can surely be increased. There must be some kind of amendment in this. Okay, so this is a right statement. क्या आंसर मिल रहा है अपने को? यहाँ से 2 एलिमिनेट हो रहा है, ये हट गया, 2 हट रहा है, 3 is the answer, तो A नहीं हो सकता. Then we have the C, so C will be the right answer. Now if we talk about the A, the President of India can summon a session of the Parliament at such place as he she thinks fit. This is the correct statement and it is the Article 85 of the Constitution of India. Article 85 talks about, Article 85 का statement क्या है? Empowers the President to summon each house of the Parliament to meet at such time and place as he thinks fit. Okay, so this is the keyword of the Article 85. So this is the correct statement. 1 is correct, 2 is wrong, 3 is correct. So the answer will be option C, that is 1 and 3 only. Moving on to the next question, we have question number 27. We adopted, it was a previous year question of the year 2021. We adopted parliamentary democracy based on the British model, we already know. But how does our model differ from that model? Okay, so there is a difference between the Indian model and the British model. Okay, as regards legislation, the British Parliament is supreme or sovereign, but in India, the power of the Parliament to legislate is limited. True, this is a correct statement, because in case of India, Parliament is not supreme. Parliament is not supreme. Why? Because it is bound by the separation of powers. There are checks and balances on the powers of the Indian Parliament. Like there is a concept of judicial review. Judiciary is there. So there are some kind of like regular elections are there. So these kind of instruments limit the power of the Parliament. So it is not supreme as in case of British Parliament. So this statement is correct. Second, in India, matters related to the constitutionality of the amendment of an act of the Parliament are referred to the Constitution bench by the Supreme Court. This is a correct statement because it is the master of roster. It is the master of roster who is the Chief Justice of India who decides the cases. Or I can say various benches. And for the constitutional cases, there must be at least 5 judges bench. 5 judges bench that must be formed, and these 5 judges bench decide the fate of the constitutional cases. That is a question, substantial question of the constitution is discussed by the constitutional benches. So this is also a correct statement. 1 is correct, 2 is correct. So the answer will be option C, that is both the options are correct. Moving on to the next question. We have a previous year question of the year 2022 and it is a very simple question. It is a very simple question. Question has been talking about, consider the following statements. The Constitution of India classifies the minister into 4 ranks: cabinet minister, minister of state, independent charge, minister of state, and deputy minister. Absurd statement. Why? Because there is no such qualification, no such classification in the Constitution of India. These are for the convenience purposes. Convenience purposes. If I say, for example, there is a deputy CM in Bihar, will you say like the post of deputy CM has been mentioned in the Constitution of India? Deputy CM is just for the political reasons, and the classification of this type is just for the sake of convenience, to just give the important portfolios to the people. So this kind of classification is not there in the Constitution of India. This is wrong. Second, the total number of ministers in the union government, including the prime minister, shall not exceed 15% of the total number of members in the Lok Sabha. This is a correct statement. The maximum number of people who can be the ministers are 15% of the total strength of the Lok Sabha. But in case of NCT of Delhi, that is National Capital Territory of Delhi, it is only 10%. याद रखना कि in case of Delhi it is only 10%, but in case of the Lok Sabha it is 15%. So second statement is correct, one is wrong. So the answer for this question will be option B, that is 2 only. Moving on to the next question, we have question number. Okay, next topic, judiciary. So we have discussed the parliamentary part. Now we are on to the questions related to the Indian judiciary, or I can say the subtopic is judiciary, and we will see how UPSC have been framing questions on the judiciary as a topic. Now the first question is, it was in the year 2016. With reference to the Gram Nyayalaya, which of the following statements are correct? As per the act, Gram Nyayalaya can hear only civil cases and not criminal cases. This is a wrong statement, because Gram Nyayalaya Act 2008 was there for the speedy justice, or I can say justice at your door. Every Gram Panchayat constituted the Gram Nyayalaya, and they used to listen all civil as well as criminal cases. Okay? They were bound by the principles of natural justice, and this is how they got the speed of speedy justice resolution. So this statement is wrong, because both civil as well as criminal cases are allowed. This is a wrong statement. The act allows local social activities as mediators, reconciliators. This is also correct, because some respected persons of the village are taken into loop, so that you get the justice delivery in an efficient manner. Look, there are some people in the village which are hugely respected by all the people. Their words have some kind of sanctity, and if these kind of people are involved, justice delivery becomes smoother. People are more expected to accept the award of the Gram Nyayalaya. So this statement is correct. So the answer for this will be option 2. Second, 92. Next question. It was a previous year question of the year 2017, and it has been talking about the judicial review. अब इतना हमने judicial review को discuss किया है, you must be knowing the answer कि what is a judicial review. एक बार देखते हैं, बाकी ऑप्शन देखते हैं. The power of the judiciary to question the wisdom of the laws enacted by the legislature. This is an absurd statement. जब तक bill will not become an act, Supreme Court or the High Court cannot initiate the process of judicial review. Whenever the bill is in the legislative stage, maybe it is passing in the houses, or maybe it has been passed by both houses, or it is waiting for the presidential assent. So these kind of situations where there is some kind of progress in the bill, but the bill has not become an act. So till this stage is achieved, the judiciary cannot initiate the power of judicial review. जब तक हमारे पास फाइनल लॉ नहीं आता, Supreme Court or the High Court cannot interfere in the functioning of the legislature. So this statement is wrong. C. The power of the judiciary to review all, ध्यान से देखना, but all the legislative enactments before they are assented to by the president. अभी हमने डिस्कस किया ना, ये जब तक फाइनल फॉर्म में एक्ट नहीं मिलता तो जुडिशियरी कैन नॉट बिगिन द प्रोसेस ऑफ जुडिशियल रिव्यू. ये तो सीधा अपने डिस्कशन से आंसर मिल गया, ये नहीं होगा. सी ऑप्शन इज रॉन्ग. डी. द पावर ऑफ जुडिशियरी टू रिव्यू इट्स ओन जजमेंट्स गिवन अर्लियर in similar or different cases. This is the own review of the cases. It is an internal process of the judiciary. Internal process of the judiciary. The power to review its own judgment. It is known as the power to review its own judgment. It is not known as judicial review. So the correct answer for the judicial review will be the power of the judiciary to pronounce upon the constitutionality of laws and executive order. This is the right answer, because हम बार बार judicial review बोल रहे हैं ना. It is the power of the judiciary to check upon the constitutionalities of the laws or executive orders. If they are found unconstitutional or ultra vires, judiciary may struck down those laws. और अगर particular पार्ट है ना किसी लॉ का जो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, तो जुडिशरी ऐसा नहीं करेगी कि पूरे के पूरे लॉ को उसने अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिक्लेयर कर दिया. इट कैन से कि आप यू जस्ट रिमूव अ पर्टिकुलर पार्ट विच इज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एंड लेट द अदर कंप्लीट लॉ पास. ठीक है, सो दिस स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. सो द आंसर फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन विल बी ऑप्शन ए. नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, वी हैव क्वेश्चन नंबर 46. okay, so it has been talking about the contempt of court, I think. So the question is of 2019 and the question has been talking the motion to impeach a judge of the Supreme Court of India cannot be rejected by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha as per the Judges Enquiry Act 1968. This is a correct statement, because as we know, for the removal of judges we need special majority of both houses, as well as the process must be completed. The process must be completed in a single session. ये होना चाहिए, but it is a rough procedure. The main procedure has been given in the Act, Judges Enquiry Act 1968. Removal of judges is there. So basically nowhere it is written कि speaker reject नहीं कर सकता. So cannot be rejected by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. It is wrong. It can be rejected by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. This is a wrong statement. The Constitution of India defines and gives details of what constitutes incapacity and proved misbehavior of judges of the Supreme Court of India. We know the reason for removal. Either it is proved incapacity or proved misbehavior. This is how the Constitution say कि how you can remove the judges of the Supreme Court or High Court. But the Constitution does not define कि ये है क्या. What is misbehavior? What is incapacity? So Constitution lacks the definition of these words. So Constitution does not define. Basically it is like the office of profit. Office of profit is there in the Constitution of India? Yes. But is it defined in the Constitution of India? No. Similarly, misbehavior is there in the Constitution of India, but it has not been defined by the Constitution of India. So this is also a wrong statement. The details of the process of impeachment of the judges of the Supreme Court of India are given in the Judges Enquiry Act 1968. अभी हमने डिस्कस किया कि rough procedure is there in the Constitution of India, but detailed procedure has been given in this Act, Judges Enquiry Act 1968. Third statement is correct. If the motion for the impeachment of a judge is taken up for voting, the law requires the motion to be backed by each house of the parliament and supported by a majority of total membership of that house and by not less than 2/3 membership of that house present and voting. Simply it is talking about the special majority. और स्टार्टिंग में भी डिस्कस्ड कि दोनों हाउस से प्रोसेस मस्ट बी पास्ड बाय द स्पेशल मेजोरिटी. So this statement is correct because हमने ये चीज ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर ली है and after discussion we got to know कि ये statement same है. So this is also the correct options. So 1 and 2 are wrong, 3 and 4 are correct. तो 1 2 तो wrong हो गया, 3 हटा दो, 3 4. This is the right answer, option C. D will be wrong. So the answer for this question will be option C, that is statement number 3 and 4. यू कैन सी कितने सिंपल क्वेश्चन आते हैं कि आपको एकदम डायरेक्ट अगर आप स्टेटमेंट पढ़ो यू विल गेट द राइट आंसर कि ये कैसे एलिमिनेट करें. और एक्चुअली में एलिमिनेशन कुछ होता नहीं है, इट इज अबाउट नॉलेज. इफ यू हैव द नॉलेज ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट यू कैन गेट द राइट आंसर. अगर नॉलेज नहीं है तो आप तुक्के बोलोगे उसको, यू विल से गेस एंड देयर इज अ हाई पॉसिबिलिटी कि आप गेस को रॉन्ग करके आओगे. ठीक है, उसको सही करने की पॉसिबिलिटी बहुत कम है. नाउ देयर इज द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ऑफ द ईयर 2020. सिंपल क्वेश्चन है. आई थिंक जुडिशियल रिव्यू के ऊपर ही है. ओके. विद रेफरेंस टू द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स. पानी देना कपिल. Okay. No high court shall have the jurisdiction to declare any central law to be constitutionally invalid. Wrong statement. Clearly wrong. Why? Because it is the power of judicial review. It is the power of judicial review and it is available to both Supreme Court as well as the High Court. Supreme Court can review both central laws as well as state laws, or the central executive order as well as state executive order. Similarly, High Court can review both central laws as well as state laws. Similarly, central executive orders can be reviewed by the High Court. Similarly, state executive orders can be reviewed by the High Court. So the answer for this question, this statement is wrong. One is wrong. An amendment to the Constitution of India cannot be called into question by the Supreme Court of India. Wrong statement ना. बार बार हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं जुडिशियल रिव्यू. कुछ भी कर लो आप, अगर अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है दैट विल बी अंडर द जुडिशियल रिव्यू. और बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर डॉक्ट्राइन से सुप्रीम कोर्ट और हाई कोर्ट विल चेक वेदर इट इज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हुआ इट विल बी स्टक डाउन, देन पार्लियामेंट मे नीड टू मेक अ फ्रेश लॉ अगेन. ठीक है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हुआ देन इट इज गुड टू गो. सो दिस इज आल्सो रॉन्ग. So the answer for this will be option D, neither 1 nor 2. Moving on to the next question, we have question number 13. It is a year 2020 question. फिर से डेफिनेशन तुमने देखा एक बार कि डिफाइंस कितनी बार यूपीएससी ने पूछा. इट आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन की कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया डिफाइंस ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट. इट आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन, एक और क्वेश्चन था ना, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया डिफाइंस टाइप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया सेज कि 3 सेशन होने चाहिए एक साल में. सिमिलरली नाउ वी हैव अ क्वेश्चन कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया डिफाइंस द बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर. यहीं से ही गलत हो गया, बिकॉज बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर डॉक्ट्राइन इज अ जुडिशियल इनोवेशन. बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर डॉक्ट्राइन इज अ जुडिशियल इनोवेशन वी गॉट. जुडिशियल इनोवेशन वी गॉट फ्रॉम द केशवानंद भारती केस. केशवानंद भारती केस. In this case, it was a 13 judges bench case. Supreme Court said like there is something called as basic structure and this basic structure will get to evolve from time to time. New kind of additions will be done in the basic structure so that it reflects the ideology of the current times. Like secularism is a part of the basic structure. Cabinet form of government is a part of the basic structure. Fundamental rights are there. So this is what constitutes the basic structure. ठीक है, it has not been mentioned in the Constitution of India. Now basic structure तो mention ही नहीं है Constitution में. Neither it is mentioned nor it has been defined in the Constitution of India. So this is a wrong statement. Second, the Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals on which the Constitution is based. This is the correct statement. See, the Constitution of India implicitly provides for the judicial review. How? We have Article 13. We have Article 13 and which says if there is law that is inconsistent with the Constitution, then it may stand ultra vires. So Article 13 has been talking about those laws which are unconstitutional and these can be struck down by the judiciary. So this statement is correct and it has been talking about the Article 13. So the option that is 13 का क्या आंसर होगा? 1 is wrong, 2 is correct. So the answer will be option B, that is 2 only. Now next question is question number 18. With reference to the Indian judiciary, consider the following statements. देखते हैं. देखो एक बार ना ऑप्शन को ध्यान से देखना कि सब ऑप्शंस ना आपस में रिलेटेड है. लाइक आई जस्ट सो कि ए हाई कोर्ट इन इंडिया हैज द पावर टू रिव्यू इट्स ओन जजमेंट एज द सुप्रीम कोर्ट डस. यही इसी टाइप का स्टेटमेंट देयर वाज अ क्वेश्चन ऑन जुडिशियल रिव्यू. अभी हमने डिस्कस किया था कि जुडिशियल रिव्यू पूछ रहा था क्वेश्चन में कि होता क्या है. उसमें देयर वाज अ ऑप्शन जो इस टाइप का ऑप्शन था, बिल्कुल सेम ऑप्शन था. सो दिस इज हाउ यूपीएससी टेक्स द ऑप्शन ऑफ प्रीवियस ईयर टू मेक अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ द नेक्स्ट ईयर. ठीक है. सो द क्वेश्चन हैज बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट any retired judge of the Supreme Court of India can be called back to sit and act as a Supreme Court judge by the Chief Justice of India with the prior permission of the President of India. This is a correct statement. इसमें कोई डिस्कशन की बात ही नहीं है. With the like permission of the President of India, Chief Justice can call a retired person to act as the Supreme Court judge. This is a correct statement. Second is a High Court. A High Court in India has the power to review its judgment as the Supreme Court does. This is also a correct statement because to review its own judgment, ये power सबके पास है. Like whether it is High Court or whether it is a Supreme Court. It is a normal question, not much to discuss in this question. So the answer for this question will be that is 1 is correct, 2 is correct. So the answer will be option C, that is both the statements are correct. Now moving on to the next question. क्वेश्चन नंबर 11 कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट एक्ट के बारे में बात कर रहा है. फिर से देखो, देखो सेम स्टेटमेंट मिल गया था. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया डिफाइंस सिविल कंटेम्प्ट एंड क्रिमिनल कंटेम्प्ट. देख रहे हो डेफिनेशन पे, डिफाइंस ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट, डिफाइन कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट, डिफाइंस जुडिशियल रिव्यू, डिफाइंस बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर. सो दिस इज हाउ यूपीएससी हैज बीन फ्रेमिंग द क्वेश्चन ऑन द डेफिनेशन टाइप. नाउ सी द स्टेटमेंट्स. एक बार देखते हैं थर्ड स्टेटमेंट, यहीं से अपने को आंसर मिल जाएगा. The Constitution of India defines civil contempt and criminal contempt. This is a wrong statement because Constitution of India में कोई definition नहीं है. It has just been talking about the contempt, but the major part of the contempt has been taken from Contempt of Courts Act 1971. This is the act that has been passed by the legislature to complete the process. Constitution ने बात किया थोड़ा सा contempt के बारे में, and the rest provisions were given by the Contempt of Court Act 1971. So this is a wrong statement. 3 नहीं हो सकता है because definition नहीं है constitution में. Third is wrong. तो D option is not there. C भी गया. Now we have either A 1 and 2 only or either B 1 to 4. यानी we need to check the fourth option. And the fourth option is in India Parliament is vested with the powers to make laws on the contempt of court. This is a correct statement. मतलब एकदम यू गो टू नो द करेक्ट आंसर्स. पार्लियामेंट ने ही तो कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट एक्ट 1971 बनाया टू रेगुलेट द पावर्स ऑफ कोर्ट्स फॉर देयर कंटेम्प्ट. सो दिस इज द करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट. थर्ड इज रॉन्ग, फोर्थ इज करेक्ट. सो द आंसर विल बी ऑब्वियसली ऑप्शन बी. नाउ एक बार और पढ़ लेते हैं बाकी दोनों स्टेटमेंट्स. द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया एम्पावर्स द सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड हाई कोर्ट to punish for the contempt of for themselves. This is a correct statement. Whether it is a civil contempt or whether it is a criminal contempt, both the Supreme Court as well as the High Court have the power to punish the people for their contempt. So this is a correct statement. Similarly, pursuant to the report of the H.N. Sanyal Committee, the Contempt of Court Act was passed in 1971. This is a correct statement because it was the year, I think 1961, when the H.N. Sanyal Committee was established. And on the recommendation of this committee, the Contempt of Court Act 1971 was passed. So clearly we got the right answer for this, that is option B 1, 2 and 4. Moving on to the next question. Now we have the question on Bar Council as well as the advocates. The question has been talking with reference to India. Consider the following statements. Government law officers and legal firms are recognized as advocates, but corporate lawyers and patent attorneys are excluded from the recognition as advocate. This is a wrong statement because even government law officers and legal firms, they are not advocates. They are not advocates. So इनका तो छोड़ ही दो, they are also not advocates. See, advocates are a special category of people that have a registration with the Bar Council of India and they are allowed to plead for the case in the judiciary. So even this category of people are not called as advocates. So this is a wrong statement. Now second statement is Bar Councils have the power to lay down the rules relating to the legal education and recognition of law colleges. This statement is correct because it is the Bar Council that is a standard setting body. is a standard setting body for the legal education. Standard setting body for the legal education. It sets the standards for which the colleges providing law education will work. So this statement is correct, one is wrong. So the answer for this will be option B, that is 2 only. Okay, I think it is the last question for today's discussion. Okay, yes, it is the last question. So here we are with the third lecture of the polity PYQ analysis. I hope you liked the 3 lectures till now we have completed. There would be one more lecture and that would be the last of this series, and after that we would be starting a new subject. So in the next polity lecture we will be discussing some other topics like election processes, Panchayati Raj system is there. So I hope you are really enjoying the way in which we are discussing the previous year questions. Till then, keep studying and revising. Do like and share the Tathastu ICS. Thank you.